Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'll be taking a look at the 2024 presidential election. I'll be analyzing the state that I believe is most likely to be the closest state in November. Now, we have a handful of swing states that we're going to be talking about. I'm going to guess a lot over the course of the next 7 or so months, and obviously they're all important because this election is going to be close, and each one of these swing states has the chance to get the candidate it votes for over 270. That being said, in today's video, I want to be looking at the state that I think is the closest as of right now. But before I get into any of that, it is a big day. This is the first video I'm going to record with the Understand Politics logo on the side, and that's because the good people, or the person who runs ypms.com, added the logo, which is pretty cool. So, just historic day. For everyone, but specifically for the channel. And on a more serious note, I'm pretty happy. It's pretty cool. I've been using this website on YouTube for 4 years. I've been using it just recreationally for 5 years. So it is pretty cool, and I'm grateful for that. But to get into the video, there are a couple candidates for the closest state in 2024. I think this is valid arguments for any of the blank states that I have put on this map, and the reason that I'm going to pick the state that I'm going to pick is because I think that if you ran the election 100 times, this state would be the closest in the plurality of cases just because it's so small and the percentages are just so likely to, be like we can know for certain a very specific range of percentages. And so with that, I'm going to stop dancing around it. I'm going to say the state, and it's Nevada. Now, what do I mean by that? I think that if you go to a state like Arizona, there's a chance Biden wins it by 4 or 5. And is that likely? Definitely not. But Mark Kelly won the Senate race by 5. It's a left-trending state. The state Supreme Court ruling really hurts Republicans in general. It's just a walking attack ad for Democrats. And just in general, I think this state is the state where Trump has the most to lose, especially in the suburbs. I would say Georgia, I could see Trump winning by 3 or 4 if the bottom really falls out for Biden, maybe even 4.5. Again, that would not be my prediction, but kind of like the reverse to Arizona, if the bottom falls out for Biden, especially with turnout in the city of Atlanta and with young voters and with black voters, that could be a problem for him, and he could lose Georgia by more than people think. But, those are just examples. Nevada, to me, I think is going to be within a point either way. Maybe 1.5 if a candidate does really well. But realistically, this state will be decided by at a maximum 13,000, 14,000 votes. And I say that with a good amount of confidence. Obviously, we're 7 months away, and if something big changes in a way that benefits Biden or benefits Trump, then maybe my opinion on this will change. But for now, I do think Nevada is going to be the closest state. And so to look at Nevada, in 2020, Biden won it by a little under 34,000 votes, I believe. Yeah, 33.5K. And he did that because he wasn't able to do particularly well in Clark County, but he did better than Hillary Clinton in Washoe, which is where Reno is. So Clark and Washoe combined for around 90% of Nevada's population. There obviously are these red counties in the middle of the state, but very few people live there. Again, land is not equal votes. Important concept if you follow American politics. Not to disregard these counties, obviously every vote does matter, especially if, Nevada's a close state. Every vote really does matter. But the majority of analysis I will be doing today will be focused on Reno, Washoe County, and then Las Vegas, Clark County. So to start with Washoe, it's up here. It's growing. It's left trending. Biden did over 3% better than Hillary Clinton. He won it by 4.5. And in the 2022 Senate race, we saw Catherine Cortez Masto. She won it by 5. And her margin in Washoe was actually a little larger than her margin statewide. She won statewide by, just under 8,000 votes. She won Washoe by 8,615 votes. So, without Washoe, she would have lost statewide. And that's a weird thing to say because Washoe has historically been a swing county that actually leans Republican. Obama in 2008 was the first Democrat to win it in a very long time, and since then it's been voting blue presidentially. But it's always been close. And in 2016, I think Hillary Clinton only won it by 1 or 2,000 votes. So, it's a relatively decently sized county in Nevada, but it historically hasn't netted Democrats a lot of votes. But that's changing because Reno's growing, the county's getting more educated, and we've seen a significant increase in just the vote nets here for Democrats. Again, Washoe, second biggest county in Nevada, Democrats, especially if they're losing ground in Las Vegas, need to make it up here. And so Biden will probably do well here, even if he doesn't win the state of Nevada. Again, he won it by 11,500 votes in 2020, which was a 4.5% margin. I think he wins it by upwards of 5 this time. If I had to guess, it's going to be around 6, maybe 6.5, and that will probably be, I don't know, maybe, if Biden's lucky, 17,000, 18,000 votes, maybe 20K if we see good turnout. But again, I'm assuming the turnout's not going to be that great in 2024. I think these candidates are just so unpopular that a lot of people are just not going to vote. And I think in Nevada, where there is a significant, Nevada was one of Bernie Sanders' best states in 2020 in the primary. It's very progressive. Washoe, the University of Nevada, Reno is a factor there. Younger area, a lot of progressive Democrats. If there's an area where Biden is going to suffer with young voters and it'll actually cost him, it will be this part of Nevada. So that's a warning sign for him there. But on the flip side, it did trend blue. Catherine Cortez Masto did very well here in 2022. So I think for now, Biden will do well. So just to kind of keep track of numbers here, Biden won Nevada by 33.5K in 2020, and I think he'll probably gain 3 or 4K more from Washoe. And turnout might be a factor that hurts him here, but I think at the same time we might see a bit, there might be a turnout decrease in rural Nevada and these counties out here, and individually they're not that big, but that could combine for a 1 to 2K vote drop for Trump. So let's just say that right now Trump is down 36, 37K from 2020 with Clark County unchanged. So it's going to come down to Clark County, as it always does. And Clark County has been getting pretty problematic for Democrats in recent years. In 2020, Biden won it by 9.4, but Hillary Clinton won it by just under 11 in 2016. So he did worse in Clark County. Realistically, he shouldn't have, because if you look at how the country trended in general, in growing metropolitan areas in the Sun Belt, like Phoenix, even Los Angeles and in the suburbs of Los Angeles, Atlanta, even Houston to an extent, Dallas definitely, even in Jacksonville, which was in Florida, which was a state where Biden did really badly, we saw Democrats and Biden improve on Hillary Clinton's numbers. Las Vegas didn't really see that. We actually saw Biden do worse than Hillary Clinton, and that was a bit of a surprise to a lot of people because Biden was supposed to win Nevada by a lot more than he ended up winning it by. So here's what I'll say. I think a lot of that was due to COVID. I think that COVID really hindered Las Vegas in a way that it couldn't really be compared to any other city. But at the same time, I would argue that that's not an excuse, right? Yes, the coronavirus really, really killed the Vegas economy because it's such a touristy, people going, a lot of it is casinos, a lot of it is this the party scene at Las Vegas. It's a very unique city, obviously. I think we all know that. But COVID really killed that, and a lot of the Democratic base in Las Vegas historically has been working class voters of color. So that's maybe black voters who work in service, or Hispanic voters who work in service. And I think there's actually a substantial Asian population. Las Vegas is a very diverse city. And so a lot of these voters don't have college degrees, but they do work in, decently high-paying jobs. I don't know a lot of, but I've never lived in Las Vegas or actually been to Las Vegas, but just based on the demographics, it's a city where you have a lot of people who don't have college degrees making a good amount of money, so much so that people who don't have college degrees, the workers in the city of Las Vegas who don't have college degrees make significantly more money than workers who don't have college degrees throughout the rest of the country. So it's kind of an anomaly in that way. But to get myself back on topic before I bore everyone, the point here is that you can not have a college degree and still do just fine in Las Vegas, significantly better than your counterparts without college degrees would do in any other city. So there are a lot of voters without college degrees in the city that have been friendly to Democrats, and many of them are working class, many of them Black, Hispanic, or Asian, and that those two demographics, non-degree holders and voters of color, specifically Black and Hispanic voters, those are two demographics that have been zooming away from Biden in the polls. So let's say the polls are right. Biden would get crushed in Las Vegas. It's also a young city, and young voters have been terrible for Biden in the polls too. Everyone knows that. So those two factors, like, voters, or those three factors, not voters without college degrees, voters of color, and young voters, those three factors look really bad for Biden. And if you believe the polls, even like if the swing against Biden with these voters is even half of what the polls are predicting, he will lose Nevada and he will do really poorly in Clark County and Las Vegas. So that would be enough to just outright lose the state for Biden. The reason that I have pause on that is because the polls are really bad right now and they're showing results that don't make any sense. So yes, I think that Biden will do worse with black voters marginally in 2024. I think he will do worse with Hispanic voters in 2024. I think he will do worse with young voters or voters age 18 to 29 in 2024. I believe all three of those things, but I don't know the extent to which it's going to happen because the polls don't make any sense and I don't trust the polls at this point. So what does that mean? We're kind of in the dark here. If Biden, if turnout in the city of Las Vegas is bad and we see young voters swing 15% against Biden, he will lose Nevada. But if turnout in Las Vegas is okay-ish, Biden could win. And again, in 2022, Clark County wasn't actually that great for Cortez Masto. She only won it by 7. She did worse than Biden in this county by 2%, and she still won statewide. And we also didn't see great turnout from Clark County. She netted 53,000 votes out I can't talk today. 53,000 votes out of this county. Biden netted 91,000. Obviously, midterm turnout's different, but Cortez Masto didn't do as well as in Clark County as she probably should have, and she still won. So, there are areas to improve for Democrats outside of Clark County, like Reno, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video. But Biden, if he does struggle here, as the polls would have you think, he will lose the state. So, to kind of summarize this, just to kind of talk about the big picture here, Vegas is going to be interesting. We don't really know what the electorate's going to look like because in 2020 it was Vegas was one of the hardest hit cities in the country. We know that Biden is likely going to do worse with black, Hispanic, and young voters to an extent. I don't know how big the swing will be. It could be minute. It could be pretty big. We don't know. And finally, in 2022, we saw Democrats fall there, and that is that's a sign that I think Democrats are going to continue to fall there post-COVID. But they can still win statewide without it. So that's why it's just so interesting to me because there's so many variables at play. And if you sat through this whole video and were like, okay, this is complicated, this doesn't make any sense, that's the right position to hold. Anyone telling you that they're confident Nevada's going to vote a certain way, I think can't say that with a degree of intellectual honesty, right? I would love to be able to come on here and be like, all right, I figured it out. I've done the math. Here's the secret. Trump's going to win Nevada, and I'm 99% sure, right? I can't say that. Or same thing with Biden, right? I think I said I would love to say this. I am by no means indicating my support for Trump or Biden. I'm just saying, I would love to be able to give you a confident prediction. I'm not going to do that because this state is so close, and because, again, I said Biden maybe is up 36, 37K before you go into Clark County, 2020, and maybe he won it by 91,000 votes in 2020. Maybe he wins it by 75K this time, because again, it did swing to the right in 2022, even though Catherine Cortez Masto managed to hold on statewide. So a lot of this really, really comes down to turnout and what the poll, if the polls are actually right, and just in general, if Biden's going to lose as much support with young voters as people think. Is Biden going to lose as much support with Hispanic voters as people think? Is Biden going to lose as much support with black voters as people think? That is what it comes down to. And it's confusing, it's ambiguous, it's going to be close. That's why I think Nevada is the most uncertain state for 2024. So, definitely a toss-up, definitely a state that I'm going to be watching very closely. But at the end of the day, it's only 6 electoral votes. So, say Trump wins it, Biden can still easily win the election just through the Rust Belt and by winning, one of Nevada and Arizona. Actually, I think he just wins the election if he wins the Rust Belt. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Nevada certainly is uncertain, that doesn't make any sense. Certainly is uncertain. Nevada definitely state that's very, up in the air right now. The good news for both these candidates is that if something weird happens and it goes the other way, they can still win the election. If Trump just wins Arizona, or even Arizona, which I think is his weakest state here, if Trump just wins Georgia, Wisconsin, and then one of these two, even disregarding Nevada, he can win. So, those are just my thoughts on this state. Those are my thoughts on the election right now. I'll do a more broad prediction in a few days here. I didn't post a lot this past week, but I was busy, and I'm going to try to post more. But again, big takeaway for this video should not be that Nevada is going to be very close. It should be that YPMS.com added the Understand Politics logo, and I think we're all very happy about that. So let me know what you want to see next. Let me know what you think about Nevada, and I will hopefully catch you in the next video. Bye.